sin against facts, but we'll keep going on believing that they'll find another source of oil somewhere under Greenland or something of that nature, that we will not have to cut down, that we will not have to regiment our facts and problems, that we will not be required to give up any luxury that we want. There will always be a solution. Well, this is the point that we can't depend on any longer. We are beginning to realize that the possibility of maintaining the future as a kind of Eden in which we'll all come finally to the promised land is optimistic. We cannot do things that are not doable in nature, and we cannot definitely do things that we don't deserve to do. We cannot have a joy that we have never earned. We can never have a security we have never earned. We are here in this world to learn something. If we don't learn it, that constitutes failure. And failure means come back and try again. So all the way along, the future now, we think of the golden age to come. We think we're going to solve all of the problems we have. We could, but we cannot unless people themselves get on this thing we call now, the moment, and in the moment make decisions that change the course of the future. If we expect the future to change its own courses to please us, or take it for granted that if we amble along full of mistakes, we will get through somehow, these things are going to defeat the problem of progress. So we have to settle down and begin to think a little bit about it. Thinking about conserving, because that is the way to survive under the present system. And yet everywhere we look, we find that people are not mature enough to look forward with hope and joy to hard work. We do not want to work. We want to recreate. But only God knows how we expect to recreate. Most of the recreations we have now are not only stupid but vicious. If we want to try to be happy in the world as it is, we have a very big job and we can never win it. Because there's nothing really basically here to make us happy. We have to earn happiness or we don't have it. That was one of the secrets of the Arabian Nights entertainment, those famous old stories. Happiness must be earned. We are not earning happiness in television, motion picture, literature, music, art. None of these things is being used to earn merit. So there being no merit, there will be no result of merit. Now, merit is a term used in Eastern philosophy very generously. It means actually something that is deserved. It means that if we have a certain merit, then we will have a condition appropriate to that arise in our society. No merit, no progress. No merit, no peace. We must do the things that cause the thing we want. So we have in front of us, we have the future. The future which is all kinds of things. The future which is hope. And it may be, it will come true, but hope doesn't happen too much if it isn't earned and deserved. So we have all kinds of possibilities of making this a better world. But we cannot do it simply by hoping. Nor can we do it on the grounds that the present policies will do it. We are already in the presence of policies we know won't do anything. Or if we do anything, it'll be to make problems worse. There will be no way of getting the future we want simply by sitting back, dreaming about it, holding the thought, and hope we can find a candidate to elect who will do it. It can't be done this way. We want to take the old and reform it. We want to build it into the new and make a better world for all of us. And this is a job. This is something that cannot be done by prayer alone. Or, if we want to say it, the most profitable prayer that will do the job is work. If we earn it, we can have it. But we are not earning it. You pick up the paper today, a terrible earthquake, wars, seditions, anarchy. All these things in the world by people who want peace, want happiness, want security. Every one of these people would like to have a safe life, but they say go out and vote for danger and get it and then destroy themselves. So here is a future that could be filled with possibilities, but is likely to become part of a past that went sour. So we have to get down to the facts of the matter and say the past is dead, the future is still unborn. No matter if the future starts today or 100 years from now, every moment is a future. But any moment from now is a future according to what we do with it. And whatever we do with it, it becomes part of the great pattern of the world in which we live. Now then, we know several things that need work. We know the problem of fuel, we know the problem of food, and air pollution, all these things. We know the danger of narcotics. All these things are here. Now, how do we solve them? If we go back to the past, which we can still remember some of, we will find that the past had exactly this same problem. The past had the plagues. The past had all the difficulties, war, various dangers, hazards, earthquakes, all these things troubled the past. And the past didn't solve them. It has given us a new kind of cotton machine. It's given us telephone, television, but it has never made the world safe to live in. It has never helped the individual to unfold the resources within himself. All that we get is a kind of panacea, which panacea has nothing, on the grounds that if we follow the rules, we will be able to survive. But we are following rules now, but we're not surviving. We are knowing beyond all doubt that we are using man-made rules to run a divinely made universe. We are here to use our own yes and no's and have our own senates and congresses to pass judgment on situations and conditions which we do not understand and never will. We do not recognize the fact that beyond all these other things is common sense. And common sense is something we can't get along without. And this common sense has to come in. And it's summed up in the Bible very simply. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. As simple as all that. We've got to cause these securities or we cannot have them. So in the past, we have insecurity. In the future, we have a potential area for the correction of insecurity. But if things drift, it'll be just as insecure as all the rest. And between these two, we have a moment of decision. We have the individual who has the right to say yes or no. The individual who has the right to stay with what he believes at this moment. And most of all, to depend very heavily upon common sense. Now, for the now man, what are the basis of the rules that he has to work by? If he lives to take what he is now and the world as it is now and make it better, where is he going to get the rules? Well, I think Ben Franklin summed them up pretty well, and so did Bacon. He's going to get the rules by the realization that if the thing works, it's the rules. If it doesn't work, it isn't the rules. If he puts in a whole group of new rules, and 2 years later there's another war, the rules weren't the answer. The rules are not shadows written out in something or hung on a wall. Rules are working instruments that accomplish the necessary. If they do not accomplish the necessary, they're not the rules. So we try to find out what the rules are. And probably Ben Franklin is one of the ones who gave us some of these rules. His very simple answer was that the real rule is common sense. Now, common sense is something that everyone is born with to some degree, but it is usually smothered out in the cradle. It also, if any of it survives, it is killed off in the public school system. The common sense is the one thing nobody wants, because they realize that if they have common sense, they're going to have to live better, and this is a very serious obstacle. The individual does not want to live better. He just wants to get even or get away with the things that help him to keep what he's got or get more. So there is no probabilities here. But Ben Franklin told the thing very definitely. The answer is common sense. Common sense is the most uncommon of all the sensory perceptions. It is based upon the simple fact that an average 12-year-old child, if asked a question within its comprehension, and it can express itself, it will probably give you the correct common sense answer to a common sense problem. It will tell us definitely the experience of all time on working with the matters that we have to face. Ben Franklin said, "Waste not and want not." Well, that's pretty good common sense. This is an age of wastrels. We waste just about everything. We waste 3/4 of the world's wealth on munition and armament alone. We waste our natural resources. We waste gasoline. We waste everything you can think of, simply because waste means a little added luxury. And because of a little added luxury, we're going to wake up someday without the necessities of life. So Ben Franklin summed it up very well. Want not, and you waste not. And if you want too much, you will waste. And here is the great age of waste. I think every one of us realizes that every time we go to the mailbox in the morning. We find it stuffed with literature that we didn't order, don't want, and will promptly throw out. But it is using up valuable pulp, it is using up time, using up everything you can think of. Wasting simply in the hope of one thing alone, and that's profit. And sometimes it undoubtedly makes profit. But it's a very expensive way to waste our natural resources, because it means that one of these days, maybe 10, 20 years from now, we won't have enough of that resource to send a single circular to a prospective customer. We need to understand these things. We need to get down to the simple facts of life. So from the past and its mistakes to the future, which could make the mistakes, again, we have to pass through the now. We have to pass through the moment of consciousness. There is a consciousness in each one of us. We have within ourselves the most priceless integrity that can possibly be imagined. And every time a major issue comes out, we will feel an impulse of that integrity. Even if we go out and vote for war, there was a moment when we knew we shouldn't. If we also want unreasonable profits, there is something in us that will kind of give us a little conscience twang. But we cast that aside quickly and go on and take the profit. And in a short time, we're unemployed. A study of the facts of life is far more important than any of the elaborate findings that go out of commissions and people of this nature. They are out trying to fit all these things together under the problem of how to cure a situation without changing it, basically. We want to know how to be rich and to be richer and to abolish poverty without anybody paying anything. It's not very likely to do it. We know now that everywhere along the line it is breaking down. We find, for instance, that it's now costing $80,000 to put a young person through a modern university of first class. This is a complete waste. There is no reason in the world why every person in the world has to be a millionaire. And yet now very little less is considered even possible. And we buy all things and pay for all things on this basis. Where is the common sense? If the thing that we buy at an exorbitant price is an absolute necessity, we may have to struggle with it a little bit. But if it is a sordid luxury that makes no difference one way or the other as to the final working out of things, then we should simply cut off the extravagance. There is no need to be extravagant when there's nothing we can take with us to the graveyard except our shroud.